Hey everybody! Welcome back to the Belly Blossom. On this new series, I take you week by week through a pregnancy journey. Each week, I'm going to discuss physical changes, some psychological challenges, and tips, tricks, and experiences that will help you along in your pregnancy. So, week 1, your menstrual cycle. So the average menstrual cycle is 28 days. Some women's is longer and some is shorter. My menstrual cycle is 26 days. I know this because I've been tracking it for years. There's lots of different kinds of apps out there that make tracking your cycle extremely easy. I used to write it on a calendar at home when I was a teenager. But now that we have phones attached to our sides, there are many good apps out there. I use the P-Lite tracker because it's free, it's easy to read, and really simple to use. Let me know which tracker you use and what you like best about it in the comments below. So to figure out how long your menstrual cycle is, it's the very first day that your period starts and the very last day before your period starts again. It's important to know how long your cycle is to figure out when you're ovulating, which I'll talk about next week. Women are born with thousands of follicles inside of each ovary. The follicles are these tiny little sacs that contain the eggs. So during this first week of pregnancy, your body is allowing these follicles to mature and go to the outside of the ovary to get ready to be released. Of course, in your period, you're also bleeding, which is actually your body shedding the inside of the uterus, cleaning everything out to start the cycle over again. This lining that's shed is called endometrium, and it's what eventually, when you get pregnant, the fertilized egg will implant itself into. So during this first week, you have your period, you're bleeding. It's not comfortable. Nobody likes their period. If you do, comment below and tell me why. But periods are a blessing because we know it is part of the process for getting pregnant. The journey has to start somewhere. So psychological challenges during week 1 can be different for every person. If you're trying to get pregnant, this will be the confirmation that you're not pregnant this month. If you've been trying for multiple months, it can be very disheartening and discouraging. I didn't know this until I started trying myself, but on average, it takes 6 months for people in their 30s to get pregnant. That's a long time, half a year. If you've been trying for over 6 months, stay tuned for next month where I give some tips about ovulation and tracking. Another psychological challenge can be hormone changes. Us women have to deal with so much stuff. As women, we have a lot of pressures, and then if our hormones are all out of whack, it's hard to just be stable and steady. I always give my husband a heads up, so we have less pressure and we can just have a nice week. Of course, hormones are the main reason why all of this is happening, so they are important, but they can be a nuisance. Not just for us, but for other people around us too. I can get really, really grumpy, also sad, and it's like I can't even control what's happening. A tip that I give you is just to take a deep breath whenever you're feeling like that. Go somewhere if you can to take a breather, have a nice cup of tea, and regroup. There are some women who also experience very intense period cramping. It can put them in bed for days, and this can also have major psychological challenges. So lastly, I want to talk about some tips. So one tip I can give you in regards to period pain, if you can, is to do a little bit of exercise. It will help circulation and help your uterus to shed its lining easier. Lastly, I want to talk about a few period products. So the newest product out there is these period panties. Personally, I have not tried them. I'm a little bit leery about leaking through stuff, But you can use them in addition to your regular products, so you don't have to wear a panty liner if you do have a heavy period. Also, something that I've been wanting to try but haven't is a menstrual cup. So they're these tiny little silicone cups that you put inside of the vagina, and they catch the blood. And they can be in there for maximum 12 hours, depending on your flow. My main concern would be that if you're out and about, how do you empty this in a public washroom? But you can get these wipes. So normally at home, you would take it out, empty it into the toilet, and wash it in the sink and reinsert it. The main thing to be careful of is not to use soaps that have any perfumes or very acidic, because it can irritate the inside of the vaginal lining. If you've used one of those menstrual cups, comment below and tell me how you like it. Of course, you can use different pads out there or tampons. One thing I do want to say about tampons is there is a lot of waste associated with them. I currently was at the Vancouver Aquarium, and they had this huge display about waste in the ocean. They had all of these different things that have been found in the ocean all along this wall. And probably every 5 to 10 objects was a tampon applicator. I was totally appalled. It made me so much more aware that we should try to use either paper applicators or tampons that have no applicators at all. So I hope week 1 goes really well for you. If there's any other products you'd like to share, list them in the comments below. Don't forget to track your menstrual cycle, and I'll see you next week with everything about ovulation on the Belly Blossom.